right, we're deepening the debate here on the News Hour as we're being joined virtually by Dr. Alex Muba. Dr. Alex Muba is the Vice President of Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative, who joins us from the United States. And we're also joined by Hamzat Lawal, who is the Chief Executive Officer, Connecting Development Code, who's joining us. Who? Okay, I'm told it's now Austin Aigbe that's joining us and not
Hamzat Lawal.
Hamzat Lawal. Gentlemen, many thanks for joining us on the News Hour. Doc, let me begin with you. What do we know about how bad the existing presidential fleet is to necessitate having to spend so much money on buying a new set?
Good evening, and thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. We really don't know. The aircraft of the president is a national security asset and is given the top equity with respect to its status. And so those that know are the ones that are speaking to the fact that it is not in airworthy condition to be used by the president and a replacement is required. It only speaks to the fact that we have a poor maintenance culture. There's no reason why an underutilized aircraft, that airplane has less than 3,000 hours aggregate, that in such an airplane should be in the condition that they claim that it should be. It speaks to the fact that we haven't done the needful with respect to that. And so when we haven't done that and we say we need to get rid of that and spend a couple many million dollars, we're speaking here over $50 million to acquire a new aircraft. Under the present economic condition, it doesn't appear that our leaders are in sync with the challenges that Nigerians face daily, with the high fuel cost of fuel, the high rate of inflation, the very high cost of food, and all of these things. So it speaks to a certain degree of insensitivity to be speaking about these issues at this time. But we cannot deny the fact that the president must be safe and that Nigeria is a major regional power and need to enter across the globe for which a presidential or more than one presidential aircraft is required. But really, if we were doing what we needed to do to maintain these airplanes, there's no reason why these airplanes should be in the conditions they are and that Nigeria should be facing these kinds of questions at this time.
Okay, Austin, let me bring you into the conversation.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, Austin, we cannot overemphasize how important it is to have our president secured in terms of procuring jets. We cannot emphasize how necessary that is. But how do we now balance this? Acquiring another jet for the president and also ensuring that we do not overspend.
Thank you very much. This is one of the weird conversations that is ongoing in the Nigerian landscape. I do understand, and everybody does understand, that the safety of the Nigerian president is very important. The safety of the Nigerian president arguably, the Nigerian president is the president of the African continent. So the safety of the Nigerian president must be taken into account. We've seen in countries where aircraft have led to the killing of presidents. But all that being said, it is important to look at the time frame. It's important to look at the timing of that request. I would suggest to the Nigerian president and, of course, the handlers of the government of Nigeria to feel the pulse of Nigerians, for Christ's sake. See, we just left off a conversation, and the conversation is still on. A government that cannot upscale the workers' welfare, a government that is still thinking about 62,000 for minimum wage, is committing this huge amount of money to buy fleet for Mr. President. In as much as the president is the president of Nigeria and is the #1 citizen, the president is made from the collective effort of all citizens of Nigeria, including workers and non-workers alike. What the president needs to do, as he has always done while he was not yet president, he has always flown on private jet. So private jet is not new to Mr. President. With or without the Nigerian-owned private presidential jet, the president can always leverage on his friends to travel around the world using their private jets. And he can have the deal to commit such an amount of money at this time will be insulting the sensibility and the resilient capacity of the Nigerian people. And I say, Mr. President, please don't go this route. It's a wrong route for your popularity. It's a wrong route. Your safety is already secured. I know you needed to move from one nation to another, just as we have the Air Force One. As my doctor earlier said, Air Force One goes through high-level maintenance. We don't have to wait until the aircraft go really low. If you investigate the repairs of that aircraft alone, you are going to see the conduit pipe along that landscape. So we must deal usually with issues and not put the burden on the Nigerian people. Mr. President, please rethink this. I'm begging you, because it has implication on your popularity.
Okay, Doc, let me bring you back here. We were told that old aircraft, which has cost the government lots of money to fix, are being put on the market, and part of these funds are to be used to, purchase some of these proposed new aircraft coming on stream. Now, as an aviation expert, should there be a particular type of aircraft that the government should go after, which is probably easy to maintain, cost effective, and maybe deal with some of the other challenges that are likely to be faced?
Well, let's start with your first statement, that the airplane is in such bad condition that it is no longer conducive for the use of the federal government. If that is the state of the aircraft, then we cannot expect that the government will get very much for the aircraft, because we've described it as scrap, and so there is no real value to be obtained. So basically, it is the citizens that will bear the cost of this new aircraft acquisition, not through the sale of an airplane that nobody can currently use. And so that's a reality we have to deal with. On the question of the value of these airplanes that we're talking about the considerable amount of money that will be paid for from the budget. And when you look at it, really, from the last speaker's point of view, you have a situation where the government is talking about spending lots and lots of millions to buy an airplane after spending billions of naira to buy cars for legislators. So are the public servants at a different plateau from the citizens of Nigeria that are having challenges to eat, having challenges to pay for transportation, having challenges of wages, where such disparity, if you look, and the price inflation of about 44%, and wages that have been stagnant for so many years, what then becomes the priority of government? Should it be the luxury of government officials, senators, and members of the House of Representatives, or saving more fund healthcare, to expand education and all of those things? So it speaks to the issue of priority. We're very much for airplanes. We say that they're in the conditions that they are. And so maybe the issue is take these airplanes and get them fixed properly to save Nigerians a lot of money. It will put the airplanes back in good condition for the use of the president. And then we're speaking to say that the pain is shared equally across those that elect people and those that are called to serve.
Okay, Doctor, before I let you go, let me quickly ask you, the president has to be safe. So where do we go from here now?
Well, owning a private jet is essentially a luxury, and the president of Nigeria is obviously entitled to that luxury. But look at the alternative side, and the challenge usually is we call what is called the government hammer. So you and I will buy a hammer for 1,000 naira, and the government will buy one for 1 million. That is the challenge that we face with the cost of maintenance. But we have to be rational in this situation. We have to deal with the economy as it is. We have to deal with the sensibilities of Nigerians. Why are we having this discussion? Because there's pain all around, and for some people, luxury. The cost of maintaining an executive jet is much, much higher if you owned it than if you occasionally rented one. The president is not flying to this long distance requiring the BVJ on a daily basis. He's going there, he's spending a few days, he's coming back, and he's doing an airplane at market public to do that from the pool of aircraft that are available in Nigeria. The types of airplanes that the president is talking about acquiring is owned here and available for charter from operators. So I speak to the fact that the president must be safe, and we can achieve that safety through the proper maintenance of the existing air fleet. But if we choose to go with it, I think it will be highly insensitive at this time.
Okay, Austin, let me get your final reaction. Same question I asked Doctor. The president needs to be safe. Where do we go from here?
Yes, I think both of us agree that the president needs to be safe, and that the president of Nigeria is important to Nigerians and important to the African continent, but not the whims and caprices or the burden on the Nigerian people. 3 aircraft, sell 2 off if it's still worthy use that one to fix the one that the president will need. Otherwise, rent private jets are available. And I maintain that before the president became president of Nigeria, he has always flown on private jets. So it's not new. I know the status has changed. You need an Air Force One, Nigeria kind of Air Force One that is branded. You can actually rent one and brand it the Nigerian presidential jet. But acquiring one at this time, again, at this time, the president must solve the greatest needs of Nigerian people. The president must solve the welfare of Nigerian people, must improve the security of the Nigerian people, must improve the security of Nigerian workers, must ensure that minimum wage actually is a living wage and takes people home, must ensure that the schools are fixed, education is becoming a challenge in Nigeria. If all of the cumulative issues of Nigeria are secured, nobody will be talking about a president securing a new jet. After all, the president's safety is important, so is the safety of all Nigerians. But when the president was sworn in, he sworn to protect and secure the peoples of Nigeria, and more importantly, hunger and starvation include the protection of the Nigerian president's duty. Thank you.
All right, I think we're just going to have to leave it there. The conversation continues. We've been looking at the Nigerian government's proposal to buy two new presidential aircraft, and we'll be looking at that through the eyes of our guest, Dr. Alex Muba, who is the Vice President of Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative, who joined us from the United States. We were also joined by Austin Aigbe, a civil society activist. Many thanks, gentlemen, for coming on the News Hour.